Today I'm going to be demonstrating the pocket join on the Harriet Cardigan. This is the same style of pocket join as is used in my design called Warmth. What you'll have created are two sets of linings for each pocket, and they're going to be joined together with your garment. For this demonstration, I've gone ahead and slipped all of the lining stitches to their own set of spare needles. However, in the pattern, it's written so that you don't have to have quite as many spare needles as you see here. And instead, you'll be using the minimum number of needles. It doesn't matter what color you'll be using during your joining row. For me, I'm still going to be on an orange row. So that's the color that I'll be using. But it doesn't matter for you whether you're on your main color or your contrasting color when you perform your join. Just make sure you stay in your stripe pattern. Before you begin your first join, the pattern will instruct you on how many stitches to knit from the first front before joining your pocket. In my case, I'll just be knitting 4 stitches before my first join. The join takes place on a right side row. Now that I've knit those 4 stitches, the remaining stitches that are part of my front here are going to be joined with both sets of lining stitches. So the trickiest part is making sure everything is folded in the correct order so that your join ends up with your linings going in the correct direction. Front folded with the lining that it was knit next to, and then this is the back and the lining that it was next to. And if you lay it all out, you'll be able to see that we're going to be joining these 3 sets of stitches together, and that's going to leave us with a pocket opening that looks like that. So in order to join those stitches together, we'll simply turn our work so that we are with right side facing. We have all sets of needles ready to go. So on these lining stitches that are on spare needles, pull your spare needles so that you have the tip of your needle ready to be worked. So there's one lining. And then on my back lining, I'll do the same thing. By the way, it doesn't matter what size spare needles you use. It'll be easier if they're smaller than or equal to in size as your project needles, but it doesn't actually, they do not need to be the same size as your project needles. All right, so now I've got 3 needles all lined up together. And all we're gonna do is knit 3 together, going through the first needle, the second needle, and the third needle. We'll wrap our yarn as if to knit, and then it can be helpful to even pull using 1 needle at a time, making sure that every loop is included, and then you'll slide your new single stitch to your right hand needle. So let's do that again. First needle, second needle, third needle, wrap as if to knit. This time I'm going to come all the way out and slide my stitches off the needle. So if you're having trouble getting all 3 of your stitches off the needle at the same time, remember that you can always pass 1 loop at a time. So this is passing 1 loop at a time. Back needle first, then the second needle, then your front needle. Then you can slide off. But once you've done it a few times, you'll have no problem simply knitting 3 together from each of these needles all at once. And then you're gonna have a wonderful join that looks beautiful in your finished garment. And the other parts of your lining will be sewn to the wrong side of your sweater. I've just finished doing my first pocket join, which is on the left front of the garment. That's where my working yarn was attached prior to beginning this process, so one less loose end to deal with. But I wanted to show you what it looks like at the end. So you see the lining, and then if we open it from the side, which is where your hands would go into, it's got this really nice double-lined effect that is extremely sturdy and really holds your stuff. So it's a little bit more of a challenging and finicky pocket, takes a little bit of extra time, but it is the best pocket ever in terms of actually holding your stuff.